All right, so it's a pretty interesting story that's going on, but it's a continuing story that's been continuing to go on. As you guys know, GPUs have actually during the coronavirus pandemic had absolutely skyrocketed to like two, maybe sometimes three times MSRP. So that is, I think it's manufacturer's suggested retail price, I believe is what MSRP stands for. Let me know if you knew that, by the way, what it actually stood for. Anyways, so I was always really curious about why it was actually going up. There's obviously a lot of economical factors, but now they're absolutely tanking, and so we're going to talk about why. It says GPU prices continued to drop compared to the previous month, though the rate of decrease slowed quite a bit, where average GPU prices dropped by 14% in June. They only fell 6% in July. That's perhaps partly because of a modest rebound in cryptocurrency prices, though with an average income of just $250 per day on an RTX 3090 Ti or RTX 3090, it would require about 500 days to break even. So you can see these monthly change numbers here, where you can see that a lot of these are now at MSRP, or even some of them are even a little bit lower than MSRP. Some of them a little bit higher. Obviously, looks like the GeForce RTX 3090 is still above MSRP by $138. But you can see that the RTX 3090 is below, the 3080 Ti is about there. RTX 3080 is pretty close. RTX 30, the 12 gigabyte one, the RTX is below. So there are ones that are lowering. Most of these seem to be below MSRP here. Give or take a few, but most of them seem to be below. AMD is even cheaper than Nvidia apparently. I don't know why they mark their prices lower, but that's what it appears to be. And they're actually probably even going to lower the prices even more. So honestly, if you're about to buy one, I would probably wait a little bit, because I think they're trying to get in their new round of GPUs, their new GPUs. So I guess that's going to drop their prices. But also, like, it seems like people are expecting lower prices, so that's going to lead to lower prices as well. Anyways, so why exactly did the GPU prices actually go up in the first place? A really good question. There's so many different potential answers, and there were multiple contributing factors, but it appears that there's really one main thing that caused this. So it says the average selling price for discrete graphics cards increased exponentially since the Ethereum mining boom. As a result, miners started to stock up on GPUs, which led to a shortage and higher prices. The situation worsened when the pandemic hit, causing the supply chain to collapse and depleting graphics cards inventory. Scalpers took advantage of the situation and used bots to buy up every graphics card to flip them on eBay later. It says Petty's data showed that the high demand in mining contributed to high prices. The most significant increase in the AIB average year selling price happened between 19 and 20. Remember that the first case of coronavirus emerged in China back in December 2019, and everything went downhill from there. For comparison, the AIB average selling price in 2019 was a little over $400, which it hit almost $700 in 2020, roughly a 75% increase. So you can see, this chart here. But basically what it's saying here is that pretty much, what has ended up happening is it was mainly the demand rise from the miners for Ethereum. Now, I guess Bitcoin miner, I think Ethereum now doesn't allow, I don't know, they don't allow the GPUs to mine, and so there's no need for Ethereum miners to use the GPUs anymore to mine. And so because of that, the demand has not only has the demand for the GPUs gone down because the miners don't want them anymore, but to buy new ones, but they're also selling off their used ones, increasing the supply of them on the market. So when we look at this from like a economical perspective here, right? It just ends up being a simple supply demand graph. And so we're going to look at this. This is obviously just a standard graph. You get our supply demand curve, supply upward sloping, demand downward sloping. Got our equilibrium point, price on the y-axis, quantity of GPUs on the x-axis. And so what ended up happening in terms of what drove it so high was there was such a massive demand shift towards the right because of increased desire for it for the Ethereum miners. And so the basically what ended up happening is there was an increased demand, and this type of demand shifts the curve entirely to the right. It's not a movement along the demand curve, but shifts it to the right because the consumer preference for it increased. So you have this massive price change here, obviously, and we're going to actually add to here. We're going to just put random numbers, not real numbers, but we're going to have 0, halfway 50, and then at the end we're going to have 100, right? And so what you can see here is the original equilibrium point. The price, the price point here is $50, and as a result of demand shifting right, you have obviously the price going up, because if demand goes up and supply stays the same, the price is going to rise because there's more people wanting the product and there's been no increase in amount of people providing it. So you can see, like, maybe that's hypothetically 60 or whatever, the price went up. So, and then also we have, the supply chain shortage as well, but it seems like from what I've read, it wasn't anywhere near as impactful as the demand. So I'm actually going to move that less. I'm going to move that much less than the crypto one. But we have our S1 curve now, so our S1 and demand 1 curve come in as our new equilibrium points. So you got EQ2 here, then you got your prices going here, and then the demand actually, I think, just kept going up. It's honestly kind of crazy because I think it just kind of kept going up because people expected the prices to keep going up. And I don't know if you guys know this, but one of the actual determining factors that can push a demand curve to the right or to the left is actually consumer expectations, and then for supplies, producer expectations. And so if people think that prices are going to go up in the future, it's going to result in higher demand now because you want to buy it now before the prices go up. That's going to raise the price even more. So that pushes it up. I guarantee you that had to have contributed to it as well. And then you had scalpers buying it too, like inflating the prices and stuff. So that keeps the demand going, and then the supply is contracting. It's not increasing. But it doesn't appear that the supply chain had impacted this one nearly as much as the demand increase. And so that's, at the end of the day, how you end up getting your price increase. And so now what is happening is the demand has returned back. It has gone back. And you could also say that the demand for GPUs increased because of coronavirus, but really the vast majority of the cause of the huge price spike was due to the Ethereum miners. And we saw that the Bitcoin stuff had really tanked back when Bitcoin had gone up. We had seen GPU increases. And so now that Bitcoin, the value of cryptocurrency, has tanked, demand for mining cryptocurrency has gone down, and I think the Ethereum, I don't think it can be mined with GPUs or something like that. So the demand curve has now shifted back towards the left, pretty much back to where it was before. And now the supply chain has also started to get better. It's not perfect yet, but it's improved. And so at that point, you're just basically going back to your original supply and demand curve. So that's how we were able to get back from EQ2 back to EQ1. Supply curve shifted back right, and then the demand curve shifted back left because now there's not as much, crypto desire and all the stuff that I mentioned, right? Also, another thing too, consumer expectations, right? Like these articles are all saying like, hey, the prices are going to go down. This one right here, GPU prices are maybe about to crash to incredible lows. People saying, like, articles saying not to buy them now because it's going to drop even more. And so if consumers expect the prices to drop more, they're going to buy less now, meaning that demand shifts to the left. And so that means the price is going to go down even more. That's actually how you get deflation. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, pretty interesting to see GPU prices down. Let me know, were you impeded from getting a GPU? Did you get a GPU now? Let me know what your status is. Also, the articles are saying to beware of buying eBay used GPUs because they've been run into the ground by crypto miners, so watch out for that one as well. Just wait for stock ones you can get, like, MSRP, like at a retail store. But yeah, interesting stuff.